Okay, we're going to start from the west side now, and we're sort of at the corner where Aggersgate begins, and that's the Red Lion pub at the back of Custom House. It was a place where, you know, farmers used to basically sell their eggs and butter and rabbits and vegetables, and then the horses used to be tethered round the corner down there where the green shop is, basically. That used to be Woolworths, and it's also a spot where there used to be stocks, and there's a recorded story of two men on the 13th of April 1616 being popped in the old stocks, and they were ordered to be there from 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, so at least they only did 8 till 5 and then they were off. Not too bad, really. Bad hours, if you can get them. Alright, here we go. Heading down St Anne's Staithe towards Aggersgate, which is actually lower down on the left hand side. There's a passenger boat. St Mary's up at the top. Very nice. So we're going to take a left at the end of here. There were lots, actually. I think it's recorded there was 7 pubs down this little stretch at one time. There's a couple now, and there's a Star pub round the corner, but not 7 anymore. Not so good for a pub crawl anymore, I guess. Here we are, Aggersgate. Now, when we get around here, we're going to have a look at a prominent little building, well, prominent big building, and it's this one, Whitby's Mission. What I was going to say when we were by St Anne's Staithe, by the bridge, when we first set off on the west side, is that there was an old boot store there, Boots the Chemist, and it closed in, I think it's 1974. But anyway, that was the sort of place where Charles Plummer set up the first printing press in Whitby, and that was in 1770. But all that's long gone. Now, this little building on the left is a museum to the RNLI, and that's a good little place to visit. Often you get Elizabeth steam bus parking here, which takes you around Whitby, but today it's a yellow tour bus, not quite as pretty really. There you are, look. There's lots of stories in there of dragging boats over to across the moors 3 or 4 miles down to Robin Hood's Bay on one occasion when some people were drowning. I can't remember the exact details, but seemingly they had to physically carry the boat across the moors down into Robin Hood's Bay, demolishing walls to get the boat through, and then they saved lives. But this is probably my favourite part of Whitby, actually. It's called the Battery, and once again I've got some Victorian slides of Victorians. No, you know, like family. They were the rich people that could afford to be here, the type of people that would have their photographs taken by Frank Sutcliffe, the famous photographer from Whitby, who would sell the negatives to them, but in his spare time preferred to photograph the locals, and the only pictures you see nowadays, because all those negatives were sold to the Victorians, but Sutcliffe kept the shots of the locals. We probably bribed with a few bits and bobs. There we are, that's the Battery. Little cafe there, or 2 cafes there. But I love those little roundhouses. They were stores for fuel, I believe. That's going down to Santa. There, the pier with the lighthouse on the end. It's the view of the Abbey over there and St Mary's. But these piers were first built in 1545, and they were constructed in timber, and then in 1632 rebuilt in stone in a timber frame, seemingly. So Hugh Cholmondeley backed a campaign, and they were built again in 1702 by an Act of Parliament. The West Pier was completed in 1814, and that's the lighthouse at the end. It was designed by Francis Pickering, an engineer to the Harbour Trust. It was opened in 1831. The East Pier Lighthouse was finished in 1854. And local volunteers used to man the Battery Parade in 1817 there. Anyway, we'll head back down towards the Khyber Pass, which is a road which has been manually cut out through the cliff basically. Yeah, the beach that goes down to Sand's End is a few miles long, and that's where Lewis Carroll used to visit, and he published some of his first works in the Whitby Gazette, so that's pretty good. Now the Khyber Pass we're coming to on the right hand side, it was George Hudson who was known as a railway king, and he was involved in the building of this. So we're going to go around the corner and uphill. Oh, there's Elizabeth steam bus. There you go. That's who I mentioned. Quite windy. We're going to take the fast track actually. And at the top of there, you've got the statuette of Captain James Cook, the famous explorer of Whitby. We saw the museum, didn't we? Down on Grey Plain. You can climb the steps to the top there, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to have a look at the view of Whitby from the east side. No, from the west side to the east side. I'll see you in a short while. Okay, we now, there's a little tunnel cut through the actual embanking, and it takes you down here where you get really quite a nice view of the crag of Whitby. Actually, that's a bit of water in. There we go. Nice shot of the bridge. And above this, up there is what's called the Spinian Cop, which is a tourist viewing platform basically. I fast tracked you to the bit where you can see the view. There we go. Yeah, I'll give this the #1 vote for the best view in Whitby, because you're looking at the east side with St Mary's and the Abbey and what the term is the old part of Whitby. Look at that for a view. Fantastic, isn't it? And over there, of course, we've got the Twin Piers. Then we've got, let's zoom in a bit, there's Captain Cook and the Whale Jawbone and the Royal Hotel. Round the corner, the Royal Crescent, both associated with Bram Stoker when he wrote Dracula. So you can come up here and chill. And we're going to head down that way towards Skinner Street next. That is where Bothan's Bakery is there. That used to be was a ropery basically owned by John Holt, and of course it's all changed now. But we're heading down towards St Hilda's. And also turning left, that would take us onto Flowergate, one of the oldest streets. See you at the bottom. Okay, that's the end of Skinner Street. We're going to go up. Got the police there. Not looking for me, I hope. I'll hide behind my camera. We're on St Hilda's now, which very, very, very grand houses. They were built starting around George III's reign and completed during Queen Victoria's. And this particular one, #1 St Hilda's Terrace, it was associated with Dr. George Young, George Limor, family there, and it was the home of the Chapman family at one point. And this is Flowergate. I think it's the oldest street in Whitby actually. People think of Church Street, but really this is the oldest one. Yeah, Flowergate was actually originally called Florer's Gate, and it's mentioned in the Doomsday Book. So take that, Church Street. This little pub coming up here called the Little Angel, it's reputed to have 2 windows and walls dating back to the 12th century, and it was the site of a castle. Outside the inn, this is my favourite little stone in Whitby, there's a mounting block where riders used to walk their horses down Flowergate. There you go. You can see that on some of Sutcliffe's photographs. And this is Brunswick Street, which connects Flowergate to Baxter Gate. In ancient times it was called Don't Get Knocked Over. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, it was called Skate Lane because local fishermen used to dry the skate on the areas where the buildings are basically now, and it was just land. But it takes you down to Baxter Gate where we will be going. Some nice churches down there. And there was also down that street seemingly a theatre built in 1784, destroyed in fire in 1823. And where this Save the Children's shop is now, there look, that was the home of Mr. Haydock, Reverend Haydock, who built my holiday cottage, which is in Haydock's place. There. May as well have a quick look. This is my cottage called Endeavour Cottage. You're on that website now probably watching this film. And Reverend Haydock completed this little, which I think is one of the most picturesque yards in Whitby, with the old outhouses opposite there. All got little Belfast sinks in, or Whitby sinks really. There we go. So we'll head back down now. That's the cottage. We'll head back down now. Yeah, and this is the area called the Paddock, and there's a gentleman there called the Reverend George Young who wrote the History of Whitby. And there used to be the Whitby Theatre stood in this area somewhere between Silver Street and Cliff Street between 1763 and 1884. That's the Paddock there. Okay, right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, down the rest of Flowergate. On the right hand side you've got the Sutcliffe Gallery coming up. Very famous photographer in this area. And there's the old chapel. Mr. Leonard Willard bought a plot of land in 1715 for the building of the chapel for the Presbyterians. We should see that in a short while. There's supposed to be a passageway runs from the chapel down onto Baxter Gate. That's what it says anyway. Where is it? I know it says somewhere. There it is, look, Flowergate Unitarian Chapel.
See you later.
Founded in 1695. And now we're going down towards the, well, it's called Golden Lion Banks. Golden Lion Pub, where we were a little earlier obviously. And then we'll come to Baxter Gate at the bottom, which is the main shopping street of Whitby. There we go. I think we recognise this place.